All right, welcome back. This is University of St. Thomas Math 005, Lesson 6, Part 2. And it is going over the in-class worksheet for 7.1. So in this case, they're asking us to take a look at the ordered pairs and determine if the ordered pairs are a solution to a specific equation. And the way we do that is to plug in our x value where we see an x and our y value where we have a y. And if the statement is true, then it is a solution. If it gives you a false statement, then you know that this is not a solution. So let's go ahead and practice a couple of these, and hopefully you'll catch what's going on here and it'll make a lot of sense. All right, so let me go ahead and let me get my pen up. Sorry about that. All right, we're going to go with black for the moment. Fairly thin. All right, so in this case, I'm going to plug in 0, so I'm going to have 2 times 0 minus 3 times 2, and we're asking, does this equal 6? Well, 2 times 0 is 0, so that's no big thing. I have a negative 3 times a 2, so that's going to give me a negative 6 equals 6. And this is a false statement, right? Even though they're both absolute value the same away from one another, it is a false statement, so no solution. So not a solution. And I think I'm going to see if I can't make my pencil or my pen write a little thinner. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so in this next case, I'm going to plug, again, my x value into where we have the x variable and my y value into my y variable. So rewriting this, I'm going to have 2 times negative 2 minus 3 times 10, and is that going to equal 6? So the question, I can pretty much tell already that's not going to work because this is going to give me a negative number and this is going to give me a negative number, so it's not going to work, right? Because this is a positive number and you can't suddenly make it be positive when it's already a negative. So I'm just going to run through it quick. This is going to be a negative 4, and this is going to be a negative 30. That's going to give us a negative 34, which is clearly not equal to 6. And I should put a slash to this. So it's clear that this is also a false statement. So not a solution. All right. I'm going to plug in 3 and 0 in this next case. So 2 times 3 minus 3 times 0 equals 6. And that's the question, right? Is it equal to 6? Well, in this case, it looks really positive. So I've got 2 times 3, which is a 6, minus a 0 equals 6. And that is a true statement. And this is a solution. Now, I want to be clear, when we're doing this, there can be more than one solution. You're looking for an x value and a y value that will work. And depending on what x value you pick, there's going to be a y value that will work with it. Whatever y value you pick, there will be an x value that will work with it. Okay, so don't assume that just because we found a solution that you have found all the solutions, okay? So let's go ahead and keep going. I'm going to plug in a -1 and 5. 2 times -1 minus 3 times 5. And again, if you pause and think about this, this is going to be negative, this is going to be negative, and this has got to be a positive, and so it's already false. We know that already. There's nothing wrong with kind of working it out just to double check ourselves, but be aware that sometimes you can see the bigger picture, and when you can see the bigger picture and feel comfortable with it, then there's a really good chance that you are able to just kind of jump to the next step. And so it's not negative 17 is not equal to 6, so it's a false statement, not a solution. I'm just going to write not. All right, and so I'm going to leave the 3 and -4 for the moment. I'm going to take a quick look at here where I'm asked what is my quadrant, and I'm going to do 2 of them, and you guys should do the other 2, and hopefully it will make a lot of sense as to what's happening here. So I'm going to take a look at let's do A and C. All right, so I'm going to take this one on and this one on. Remember, my x's are always first, so I'm to the left of my x-axis, or x of my y-axis, and this is positive, so it's above x-axis. So where is that going to give me? I'm going to remember I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you think about it as being counterclockwise, starting with the one that we normally think of as being our graph, you should be able to pick out where it would be very quickly. So this is going to be left of the y-axis, so it's over here on one of these two, and then it's because it's above the x-axis, this is going to be quadrant 2. Now, if you were to say the number 2, right, I'm not going to mark you wrong. Just so that you're aware, though, this is the conventional way of writing it. And again, if you were to write it just as a 2 or quadrant 2 with an Arabic number, then it would look, you'd have a funny math accent. All right, that's kind of the best way I can say that. And I'm going to go ahead here and plug in my, my values. My x is going to be left of the x-axis, or the y-axis. I'm going to just say left of y-axis. There we go. And then this is negative, so it's going to be below x-axis. Okay? So where is that going to leave us? It's going to be left of the y-axis, below the x-axis, which means that this is going to be in quadrant 3. All right, so the rest I'm going to leave for you guys to do. I want you to practice it and kind of get a sense of what's happening. And this is getting to be about 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop here, and I'll resume in the next video.